Hi, this is Rhiannon from the Contract Express team. This video is going to show you how to set up approval workflows within Contract Express. Approvals need to be enabled by an admin on your license space. To do so, navigate to the Admin tab, click on Features, and check the Approvals box. You can also click Manage Statuses to change the names of each approval status if required. You might want to do this if you're replicating an existing internal process within Contract Express. For a description of each status, please see the Admin manual. Once you're done, remember to click Save to retain any changes. You're now ready to set up an approval. Approvals are applied on a per template basis, so your approval settings can vary based on the answers given in a questionnaire. First, find your template and ensure it has been published and shared with the relevant users. Next, click on Approval Steps. Click the button in the top right-hand corner. Then give your approval step a name. Checking Auto Start will mean that the approval automatically begins once the questionnaire is complete. If left unticked, the user will need to manually request approval. This can be useful for the initial approval step, particularly for complex questionnaires where the user may need to amend details before they're happy to send their contract for approval. For subsequent approval steps, you may wish to select Auto Start to give a seamless approval workflow. Checking Approver Edit will allow the approver to make changes to the questionnaire. If unchecked, the approver will see a read-only version of the questionnaire and will only be able to accept or reject the approval request. We can now set up our approval triggers. Looking at the Applicable section, we have three options. Always means the approval is applicable regardless of how the questionnaire has been answered. Likewise, Never means it's never applicable. This may be useful if you wish to temporarily turn off an approval process without deleting the approval step. The final option, dependent on rule below, allows us to set up a trigger based on answers given in the questionnaire. Click the drop-down menu and you will see a selection of variables from your template dictionary. Select the one you want to base your trigger on. Next, pick the relevant operator from the list. The options available will depend on the type of variable you've chosen. Next, enter the desired answer in the final box. Make sure the text you're entering matches the available options in the template. To make more complex approval triggers, click the plus icon and add additional rules. If required, you can group rules together by selecting the tick boxes next to the rule and clicking Group. Select either AND or as appropriate. Click the X to remove a rule. Follow the same process for the Required section. Although an approval may be applicable since certain conditions are satisfied, the document may not require approval unless other conditions are also satisfied. This distinction can be useful for reporting purposes, as the approval status and history will reflect the approval trigger. Next, set up your approvers. Default approvers are able to approve any documents created from the template. Select Add Approver, then select the type of approver. User or Group allows you to add either an individual user or a group of users as an approver. Variable allows you to derive the approver from a selection made during the questionnaire. Please see the admin and author manuals for more details on this. If required, you can add multiple approvers by following the same steps. In addition to the default approvers, you can also add data-driven approvers. If using both, the data-driven approver will be applied first. From the first drop-down, choose the yes/no variable that you want to base your approver selection on. From the second drop-down, choose either true or false. You can then add your approver in the same way as before. Next, set up your approval notifications. You can choose whether to send the request to the primary approver only or to all of the approvers. By primary approver, we mean the first approver in the list. Note that the emails will only be sent if both the subject and body are filled out. You can add both static text and variables by clicking Add Variable. This includes variables from the template and metadata variables. Repeat this process for the forward, approve, and reject emails as well. Once you're happy with your approval step, scroll up and click Save. You may wish to set up a multi-step approval workflow, for instance, if approval by multiple teams is needed. To do so, simply create additional steps in exactly the same way as before. To change the order in which approvals apply, click Manage Order. Approvals in the same box run in parallel, but you can add sections by clicking the plus and dragging and dropping each approval step into the required order. Once you're done, click Save. Now, when a user generates a document from the template, the approval flow will kick in. Here, I have a generated NDA awaiting approval. By clicking on each approval, I can see who the approver is. To avoid users bypassing the approval, I can only see a read-only copy of the questionnaire. I will also only be able to download a PDF version of the document. Note that these settings can be amended via the profiles if required. As the approver, I will see the approval in my tasks. If I click on the link, this takes me to the document page where I can approve, forward to another user, or reject the approval. If required for audit purposes, you can add a comment as you do so. The original user will receive an email informing them of the approval status, and the approval history is recorded. Comments will appear in the history section of the document page. The process for rejecting an approval is very similar. Again, you can add comments as required. The original user will be informed of the status and can make the necessary amendments.